What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Ba 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 baran.
Ba 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 baran. Ba 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 baran. Ba baran. Hello and welcome to the After Buzz podcast. My name is Nico Edgeming, your host of the After Buzz, and of course, I'm with Buzz Adams.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I just want to sing this whole podcast long.
Well,
what do you think of that?
We didn't need intro music because of it, so good job.
Thank you very much.
It is April 9th, the day after the eclipse, and we were all eclipsed out today, I think. We got everybody's reactions to it. Buzz and I saw it.
I regret not taking the day off, taking my daughter
Like,
out
you
of
think
school.
it would have been really cool to have been in the blackout, like a complete blackout. Yeah, probably.
Like a once-in-a-lifetime
Yeah,
type of deal, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'll go in 2079 instead.
Well, at least your head will. Your head in a vat will.
Right.
Okay, so today I wanted to talk about mysterious murders.
Wow. Well,
That will
this
be
is
the
a
topic.
is this going to be a crime podcast?
Yeah,
A
sure.
murder
Sure.
podcast?
This is true crime. This is going to be a true crime podcast. Before that, though, I want to bring up this article I was reading about somebody saying, oh, I took a 30-hour Amtrak ride and I upgraded to one of the rooms they had and it was worth it, whatever.
Oh.
But it made me think, oh, I wonder if Buzz has ever been on a train before. Have you been on a train?
No, but I considered it, and I actually looked into it, and you would think, oh, it's a train. It doesn't have to stop for traffic or...
Oh, they have so many stops.
It takes fucking forever to get where you're going. Like, if I was going to take a passenger train, it would take 3 times as long to get to where I'm going.
Have you ever traveled to the Northeast? Like New York and Washington?
By plane.
Okay.
And then once I'm in New York, I'm taking the subway.
You know why the reason I'm thinking about it is because my ex-girlfriend used to live in Rhode Island, and I would fly into Boston sometimes and just take the train into Rhode Island.
Well, we don't have like a metro rail.
No, but that's the.
But
cool,
I guess
that was the cool thing. There was this train from Boston to Providence, Rhode Island, and me and my girlfriend, if we wanted to take a weekend trip, instead of having to rent a car, we just take the train on up to Boston for the weekend. And in Boston itself, it has all kinds of public
I can tell you the
transportation.
last time I priced it was probably a decade ago. It was going to take a lot more, and it was going to be more expensive.
Yes, that is one of the things.
I thought it would be much cheaper than a flight. It's not cheaper than a flight. It's not cheaper than what I pay in gas to drive my own car.
I'm thinking more of in terms of like if you went somewhere for a rental, probably a rental car would be more expensive than the passenger train tickets that I had to take for those things.
A rental car would not be more expensive.
Like to drive just to drive 3 hours up to Boston.
Well, how long? I mean, it depends on how many days you're going to rent the car for.
Well, I just wanted that day.
Yeah.
For the night. I just want to get up there and get back.
Stick your thumb out. Get to hitching, man.
That's when the train makes sense. But I know what you're talking about is like...
Gas, grass, or gas. Nobody rides... No, gas, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free.
You used to give a lot of ass, didn't you? That's why you forgot that one.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I know what you mean. Amtrak across the country. If you wanted to get from here to another big city, that way more expensive.
It takes longer.
Way longer.
But I guess if you got one of the luxury cars, which I was not even pricing those, I was just pricing to sit with the hoi polloi.
I almost think of it. You have to go for the train ride itself. Like
I've done a train ride, but it was like at Christmas time in Santa Fe, and it was they give you cocoa, and somebody comes out,
nice.
and Santa shows up, and they read Polar Express to the kids. I did that with the kids many years ago.
That seems nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, something scenic like that, or like especially if you got a really good view of nature or landscapes.
Yeah, it was real nice. They had a bar car,
or as we like to call it,
and then our friends,
Daddy's playtime.
Our friends took their two little kids, and one of them puked all over the car that everybody was riding.
Because they overserved him at the bar.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, she was 3, but I think she had one too many
bottles.
Too many cranberry vodkas.
So I've taken a couple train rides when I was younger, those scenic ones with my parents. They wanted to do the one from Colorado to here or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, for a scenic deal, I guess that would be kind of cool.
Apparently, what I did though was I was about 5 to 6 years old, and I was going from car to car telling strangers that we had just left my sister to be adopted in.
You have no sister.
I have no sister. Why would I even be telling people this?
Because you're a little liar?
Yeah, we just actually left Denver because we just dropped off my sister. My parents had to leave her at the orphanage. They didn't really want her anymore. So now we're coming back.
I don't even want to follow up on that. Why, did you do stuff like that all the time?
No, I don't know why I did that. No, I don't know why I did that. That was just something my parents always say. They're like, yeah, and you told everybody. I also used to do things like when I was 5 or 6, I'd go to stores like Burlington Coat Factory and find one product that I thought was fascinating and then try and sell it to everybody in the store. Like go up door to door. Okay. We should take a train ride sometime. You said you went to Britain. Did you go to France? Europe, don't they have a lot?
We went through the underground
the
tunnel, also known as the Channel Tunnel or
the Chode.
The Chunnel.
All right, so let's get into it. Mysterious deaths. Just from the title of that, it's obvious what we're going to talk about, but can you think of any specific ones off the top of your head?
JFK, who did it, man? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty mysterious death, yeah. That should be
Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK.
Guaranteed?
I don't know. He definitely had some bizarre contacts through his young life. Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't even 30 years old.
He worked for the CIA, for sure.
Maybe. He lived in Russia. He renounced his U.S. citizenship and went to Russia, where it's speculated that he may have been a spy or...
No. A lot. So apparently he came back with his bride. He married a Russian woman. They came back and they started hobnobbing and socializing with many Russian expatriates who were in the Dallas area. The other side of it is that he was a double agent. He had already been working for the CIA stateside and doing other stuff before then. But
he was also passing out pamphlets arguing
for communism,
Cuba's case.
Yeah.
The Society for a Free Cuba. I don't know. There's enough weird about Lee Harvey Oswald that just makes you wonder who he was talking to leading up to that fateful day.
That
in 1963.
I think of Amelia Earhart as pretty mysterious.
I think they mostly figured that out. Got lost. Plane went down.
All right, so
probably died on impact.
In the background, for anybody that's listening, may not be familiar with Amelia Earhart. In 1937, she was an accomplished aviator attempting to circumnavigate the globe.
Famous, she had already set some records for female aviators and just aviation in general, and she was a celebrity.
And she was with navigator Fred Noonan.
Yes.
So
also a very accomplished pilot and navigator.
Yes.
And pilot himself. So
Near the end of their circumnavigation on July 2nd, they took off from New Guinea en route to Howland Island, but they never arrived. The most popular and plausible theory is that the plane ran out of fuel and just crashed into the ocean, killing both of them, and there was no way to recover the plane wreckage. A lot like we saw with the Malaysian Airlines. I mean, and that's today.
Well, this was a tiny little...
And this was a tiny two-seater plane, so that's the most
sure. That's obviously the most probable. But they never found any debris.
But there's another theory that proposes the duo wound up on Niku Moro, a.k.a. Gardner Island, about 350 miles southeast of Howland.
And were imprisoned by the Japanese?
Where they died as castaways.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard that one before. Well, what did they find?
They found skeletal remains on this island. And then another is that she was a spy actually captured by the Japanese.
Okay.
All right. But moving on. So this is a list of 25. And I'm not going to go through all of them because some of them, like, I'm not sure you'd even find interesting. Like Alexander the Great is apparently had a very mysterious death.
At like the age of 24 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
He conquered the known world pretty much by that time.
Right. I mean, he had already they went into India, and he conquered the top part of India, and he got, his soldiers pretty much were mutinying and wanted to go home. So turn him around, go home. On the way home, gets a fever, ends up dying in his capital in Persia. Babylon. Might have been Babylon. Anyways.
I got to watch that movie again.
That one's a good one.
The one with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Kind of gay.
That is accurate to history as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Edgar Allan Poe?
Yes. Know a lot about this one.
Okay. You want to tell me? Or do you want me to just...
Well, he ended up dying of... it was mysterious, but pneumonia, had caught his death, a cold or whatever. But it happened to be that the night he died was election day, and they think he might have been one of these guys that they would get drunk, and then they'd dress him up in different clothes and take him to multiple polling stations and have him vote. And there's a word for it. It's probably in your article there.
Cooping,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was common in Baltimore at the time.
Right. And that they might have done this to Edgar Allan Poe. He was, known to uncork a bottle himself every now and then, and that they might have cooped him and then just thrown him out in the alleyway, and he caught pneumonia and died.
Yes.
So, how close am I to the version you have there?
You mean the truth?
I mean, I don't think they say we know the truth for sure.
No, but I have like dates and like actual things. So yes,
I'm doing this all from memory. You haven't previewed any of these for me.
No, I have not. So the famous writer was found disheveled and seriously ill, yet still alive, in Baltimore on October 3rd, 1849, only age 40. Mm-hmm. He was gripped by delirium and unable to tell anyone what his affliction was or where he had been for the previous 6 days.
6 days.
He had been staying in Richmond, Virginia, and had left on a journey bound for Philadelphia, but he never made it there. When Poe was discovered, he was wearing clothes that did not appear to be his own. And his condition never improved. Then he died on October 7th.
And there had been an election day during that during the previous week.
The attending physician's cause of death said that he suffered from brain congestion, which was a euphemism from excessive drinking. And that's what he died. They say he died from excessive
brain congestion.
That's what the doctor said.
You've been drinking? No, but I do have a case of brain congestion.
So like you said, one of the theories about what may have happened to him, although sensational because he did like to have a drink, Poe might have been plied with drink, forced to vote repeatedly in an election scheme known as cooping, which was common at the time.
Boy, you want to talk about dirty elections.
Oh, I know, right?
Just go back
Why
to the
don't
day
they do
where
that anymore?
You could go and change your clothes and go back and vote again, and nobody would catch you.
Somebody else has suggested that he perhaps fell victim to rabies after petting an infected cat. Either way, his medical records have disappeared or did disappear, which only added to the mystery. And he was able to say only one single word.
I know what it is.
When he was found.
Nevermore.
Well,
Lenore.
I guess nevermore is one word, yeah. No, he said a name. Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Who or what he was referring to has never been uncovered.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is an amazing actor.
In another 150 years, he will bring Deadpool to the screen.
Next up, Grigory Rasputin.
Sure. Know the whole story there.
All right. Lay it on me.
How long? Give me a time frame and I'll tell you the whole story.
A time frame of what?
How long I have to tell you the story
give me what you can.
Grigory Rasputin. Rasputin, known as the Mad Monk, was a monk. He was considered a peasant. He was considered uncouth and unkempt, but the family, the Tsar's family, fell under his sway.
The Romanovs
of the Russian Empire, the Tsar.
It was Alexander II.
It was Nicholas.
Or Nicholas.
And you should have known that, obviously. right, Nicholas. Because they thought, alleviate their son's medical condition, which was hemophilia.
Yes.
And that somehow, probably using hypnosis, Rasputin was able to make the boy feel better. So some nobles decide he's got too much control. A plot was hatched. We're going to invite Rasputin to one of our dachas, or a big mansion, and have a party for him, and we're going to poison him, which they did, and nothing happened. And then they poisoned something else, and nothing happened. And then, I don't know, what did they did a number of things, and it had no effect. They ended up shooting and stabbing him a number of times, and he was the original Die Hard. Yeah. Because he was hard to kill.
That's a good description of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
So in 1916, the story of how he was assassinated was put out. He was fed cyanide-laced cakes and wine, washed it down, but nothing happened.
I think he asked for more.
Then he was shot multiple times, but he still wouldn't die. So his murderers tied his wrists and threw him into the Neva River. Although his dead body was found under the ice, apparently Rasputin had managed to free himself from his bonds before finally succumbing to death and drowning.
So goes the story.
So goes the story. And why they do say story is because Prince Felix Yusupov, a member of the group of noblemen who killed the Mad Monk, was one of the people who crafted that chain of events to bolster his own reputation by turning Rasputin into a supernatural figure. There is an autopsy report, and they still have seen it. You can still see it. Rasputin wasn't poisoned or drowned. He died when he was shot in the head.
There are these pictures. You've seen the famous one. He's surrounded by women.
Yes.
Apparently, he had a ton of female admirers.
Yes.
And there's just something magnetic about him. Even from this old black and white photo, there's just something about his eyes that he
was magnetic.
Yes, there was something magnetic about him. Apparently, he stunk to high heaven, according to a lot of the nobles. There were some reports that he had a 15-inch penis that was kept in a jar after his death.
We must study this for future generations' sake. Next up, Abby and Andrew Borden.
The mother and father of Lizzie Borden?
Yes.
Yep, know this one.
And the stepmother, father and stepmother. Go for it.
Oh, boy. Leading up to the attack with the axe. Well, the father and the mother were both found axed to death. I don't think the old rhyme is accurate. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw that what she had done, she gave her father 41.
Wow.
She was acquitted, by the way.
She was.
And lived the rest of her life as a free woman.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
A free woman who had a popular rhyme that everybody knew about her.
There are all kinds of theories that have come out, and I don't believe anybody was actually convicted for their murder. On June 20th, 1893, a jury found Lizzie Borden innocent, or acquitted her, and in that she had not taken an axe and given her father Andrew and stepmother any whacks.
No axe, no wax. Did they find the axe?
Good question.
Also, weren't there other people in the home? I think the family was fairly affluent.
Yes. So this happened in Fall River, Massachusetts. And one of the other accusations that were made was that it could have been Lizzie's uncle, John Morse, who was staying with the Bordens when the murders occurred.
Yeah, but...
Or the Bordens' housemaid, Bridget Sullivan. Or their neighbor, Dr. Seabury Warren Bowen. Other suspects were apparently a madman in a straw hat and one of Lizzie's Chinese Sunday school students. Other theories in recent years have posited that Emma, Lizzie's sister, was the killer.
I knew there was a sibling there in the house,
despite the fact she had been cleared at the time because she was on vacation 15 miles away. So,
I mean, back in those days, you might as well be 500 miles away.
Police actually arrested a Portuguese immigrant before inconsistencies in Lizzie's account. Not to mention her lack of emotion about the murders caused police to turn suspicion her way. The general consensus after the verdict was that Lizzie did do it and just got away with murder. She claimed innocence for the rest of her life, but was generally an outcast in Fall River until her death in 1927.
I would have left Fall River. It doesn't sound like a big town. I would have moved to Boston or something.
The crime remains unsolved to this day, and we'll probably never know who done it.
I think you can still tour the Borden house if you were to go to Fall River.
Do you like this game?
I like showing off like how much shit I know. That part I always enjoy. So.
Okay, so this one, right up your alley, Christopher Marlowe.
Christopher Marlowe, the frenemy of William Shakespeare.
That is correct.
Played by Rupert Everett in the excellent 1998 Oscar award-winning film Shakespeare in Love.
Yes. Everybody knows how much you love Shakespeare in Love.
I know I know that one.
You know how he died? Or how he was said to have died?
It was reported that there was an argument at a tavern over a bill.
Yes.
Correct. The bill? Vanity. The bill, not the billing. That's the scene from Shakespeare in Love. I've just performed the parts of Jeffrey Rush and Ben Affleck to perfection, I might add. That he got in a fight and caught his own sword or knife in the eye, killing him. There are some theories that Christopher Marlowe might have been engaged in espionage, and that he was killed as a result of his. I forget. It was in the time, the Elizabethan era. It was all about who's Protestant, who's Catholic.
Right.
If you can find some secret Catholics, you could, get them brought up on charges.
Right.
I guess some of that came into it. There was some thought that maybe, but I forget who he was supposed to be spying for.
All right. Well, on May 30th, 1593, Christopher Marlowe was only 29 years old when he was stabbed by one of his companions, whose name was Ingram Frizzer.
He was stabbed by Ingram Frizzer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, Shakespeare in Love said that he accidentally stabbed himself in the eye.
As the story goes, the two couldn't decide who should pay the tavern bill, and the argument came to blows. But they technically weren't at a tavern. They were at the house of Dame Eleanor Bull. That sounds very simple, however, because Marlowe was actually awaiting trial on charges of atheism, a crime punishable by death at the time.
Can you imagine if you were like, hey, this whole Protestant Catholic thing, leave
I'm
me
out.
out of it.
Don't believe any of
I
it.
don't believe any of it. Oh,
Death.
well, we're going to kill you too.
So
You got to choose one. All right, well, what's the right one? Depends on who the ruler is.
right. So that's one reason they think that was a little too simple of a death. For another, like you said, historians believe that he worked as a spy for Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. So maybe she would have been, so Queen Elizabeth was a Protestant. She might have had him spying to try and find secret Catholics, especially supporters of Mary, Queen of Scots.
Also, what's a little fishy is that Fraser, who claimed self-defense, was fully pardoned for the murder. Okay, so what happened then? Well, according to one theory, Marlowe had evidence that members of Queen Elizabeth's Privy Council were also atheists, and they had been assassinated to keep him from spilling the beans. They had him assassinated from
Members
spilling
of
the
the Privy Council were also atheist. I mean, if somebody said, yeah, this guy's also an atheist, couldn't you be like, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, I swear it isn't true. I mean...
Who knows how they have to prove? They dunk you in a river.
Right.
Some people believe that his murder was faked to save him from being sentenced to death for atheism.
Some people think he was
which would
the
give
actual
rise
author.
to the conspiracy theory that after his escape, Marlowe continued writing plays under the name William Shakespeare.
So in his lifetime, Marlowe was the more respected playwright
than
in
Shakespeare.
England, more respected than Shakespeare. Is this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium?
Fire, Buzz. All right, that's going to do it for today's podcast. Thanks for listening to the After Buzz, the only podcast after the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Don't forget to listen to that Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on 955 KLAQ or your KLAQ mobile app, wherever you're at. And the After Buzz podcast, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Talk to y'all next time.
This podcast is sponsored by Cloud Optimizer.
As we migrated more of our business to the cloud, we were seeing expenses go up, but we couldn't pinpoint the cause. It seemed less of a cloud, more of a fog. That's why we brought on Cloud Optimizer, and they saved the day.
Are you seeing your cloud hosting bills go up and you're not sure why? It's time to put Cloud Optimizer to work for you. Cloud Optimizer analyzes usage patterns, right-sizes resources, leverages discounts you may not be aware of, implements automation, and much more. And by reducing unnecessary expenses and maximizing performance, Cloud Optimizer guarantees you a savings of 5 times what you spend for their service.
With Cloud Optimizer, we have our spend under control. Our company is more agile, profitable, and we're getting peak performance from our cloud.
Make the cloud work for you with Cloud Optimizer. Get a free assessment and find out how much you can save by going to cloudoptimizer.com. Go to cloudoptimizer.com for your free assessment. That's cloudoptimizer.com.